Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome to When Wisdom Talks. I'm Alisha.
And I'm Kadesha.
And I'm Naomi, and welcome to When Wisdom Talks. Another week, another episode, and I cannot believe that we're practically at the end of June already.
Unbelievable.
I just want to know, where did the month go again? Can somebody tell me? I have no idea.
It went out the window.
Gone, just gone. But whatever the case is, we're all three here and we're excited to be spending this time with you as always. Thursdays, we absolutely look forward to spending this time with you, and you on all of our pages. And we're so grateful. So thank you. And as always, every show, including this one, is sponsored by Be Inspired Global and Wisdom on the Wall. And we are your gracious host for the evening. And I want to also let you know what our mission is, as I do every week, to empower women and men, just like the episode we had last week, which was awesome, to live better and wiser through engaging discussions, fun activities, and inspiring special guest interviews. And tonight is no different. You always know that we have a fabulous show planned out for you. So with that, I'm going to kick it on over to Kadesha.
Thank you. Well, we are your special guests tonight. So you'll be just hanging with us, spending some time with us. And if you've been following us for some time, you know that we like to highlight some themes. So this week, we're going to highlight 3 of them. National Making Life Beautiful Day, National Loving Day, and National Smile Power Day. That is a mouthful.
Yes.
So we're going to highlight those. We're just going to talk to you about those topics, give you some wisdom, have some dialogue. Maybe you can join us in the chat if you would. As we're talking about the chat, we want to go ahead and remind you to go ahead and share the page. Okay, it takes 2.5 seconds or maybe 2.7, who knows, but go ahead and share. It doesn't take a long time at all. Again, make sure you stay connected with us as well. We love to hear from you. We love encouraging you. We love empowering you, but we also like to be encouraged as well. So if you want to stay connected with us, you can drop us a line at our email, info@wisdomonthewall.com. Just tell us how beautiful we are, how lovely we are, and how good our God is. But you can also tune in on our Monday night pop-up prayer call, where Elder Pamela says we pop in to pop up, pop off, or something like that. But we have a pop-up prayer call 6:30 p.m. in the evening. So on your way home from work, or if you're out picking up the kids, doing some grocery shopping, you can just have your little earbuds in and be listening to your pop-up prayer call. We're also every Wednesday morning. Somebody say every Wednesday morning, okay?
Every Wednesday morning.
Yes, even when we want to sleep in, when it hits snooze. We've been doing this thing. I was looking back. I think, I don't know, maybe almost 2 years.
Yes.
Like, I was thinking more than that for some reason.
Honey, we've been having a good time.
Yeah, it's been longer than
that. But yes, every Wednesday at 6 a.m. one of us is teaching. We have an opportunity to pray for you to get your praise reports. And, you may say, well, there's a bunch of prayer calls. Yeah, that may be true. But we do hear some good praise reports from ours. We're getting a prayer through, and we're hearing people's testimonies about what God is doing as a result of them being connected to the Wisdom on the Wall family. So we would love to have you on. If you're not able to tune in right at 6, you can listen to the prayer call. You got about 7 days, and that's it. The replay. And then also you can visit our website. We have a book, wisdomonthewall.com. I know some of you are still working from home. You may have some extra time. Go ahead and pick up the book, and you can do that at wisdomonthewall.com. So I think I hit everything. So I'm going to send it over to my girl, Alisha.
I got it. Well, welcome to Girl, What's Your Story with a Twist. This is just a time for us to share a little bit about what we've been doing over this past week or so. And the twist is that we really want to know, like, please share with us what it is that you've been embarking on these past few days as well. But again, just a fun, fresh way to learn a little bit more about what we're doing and who we are. And again, we want to do the same with you, learn a little bit more about what you're doing, because again, we like to do new things. So you might do something that's kind of interesting that we want to check out.
Yes.
So the three of us will get to share, and I'll kick us off with my What's Your Story. And actually, I'm sure I'm not the only one, but over this past weekend, it was kind of like an extension of Black History Month with Juneteenth. And it was just so awesome. And y'all know how I'm always interested in learning new things, getting new facts. And one of the things that I learned in the midst of soaking up all the Juneteenth things that was going on TV and online is that, when we talk about Juneteenth and that being, 6 months after the Emancipation Proclamation for Galveston slaves to find out about it. Well, it turns out that Delaware, and you'll appreciate this, Kadesha, having lived in Delaware, is that it was almost 6 months later, after June 19th, that Delaware slaves found out about it. So from when you look at the Emancipation Proclamation, talk about a mouthful, it was almost 3 full years that Delaware slaves, and there was about 2,000 slaves who didn't know anything about freedom. So, it's just interesting in terms of learning about our history. And it was just really great, just that weekend, just kind of conjuring up that hunger and that thirst for us to really know about who we are, and probably, kind of directing the narrative of it all. And I think for me, it's also important for us in terms of just enlightening the next generation, so that the next generation isn't starting at ground zero, as, oftentimes we may feel that way when we learn about these new things. So, it was just a great weekend. It just felt great in terms of it being like I said, an extension of Black History Month, and it's all about passing it on. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to one of you to share what your story was for this past week.
I mean, but just think about that for a minute, like going back to the Juneteenth. Like, can you imagine like somebody knocking on your door or ringing your doorbell telling you free? You know what I mean? Like, and it sounds simple, but the reality is, like, once you live in a certain lifestyle for so long, like you become accustomed to that, even if it's bondage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I look at our culture and our people now, and we're still stuck in certain ways.
In certain ways, yeah. So, absolutely. It's interesting, real quickly, that you said that there is a book out, and unfortunately, I didn't know you were going to go there. I don't have the name of it, but the guy kind of writes from that perspective of basically, as a slave, getting that mentality or getting that word that you're now free. And some of them didn't want to leave because they only knew what they knew. And it was kind of like, is this for real, or am I going to be able to do something different? So yeah, that's real.
Right. That's a word right there. Is this for real? That's a word for a preacher. So my something new. I thought I had shared it already, because technically I started it last week, and this week I technically missed, but I'll catch up on it. Was a podcast, right? So this is how good our God is. I was just asking him for something different, and I'm asking him for something very specific. And honestly, and I shared this on the prayer call, like, I don't even think I verbalized it. It just was something in my heart that I was just meditating on and telling God in my head and in my heart. And anyway, I went to peruse on Instagram, and I fell across Sarita Jake's page. And so anyway, she had an interview with these other, I think it was two phenomenal ladies. And so one of the ladies has a phenomenal podcast, and it's called In the Light. And it's with Dr. Anita Phillips. And when I tell you, I just fell in love with her virtually. And she happens to be from here, or lives here in Baltimore. Well, I'm not in Baltimore, but in Maryland. And anyway, on the Instagram, it caught my attention because it was talking about emotional homelessness, and a term that I had never heard before. And so I'm not going to do it justice, but the Lord's going to give me strength to try to explain it. But it basically was a conversation about how you can be not home emotionally, and how, sometimes we are emotionally homeless and we don't know how to express that. And so she talked about developing a emotional vocabulary so you can speak to exactly how you're feeling. And she was just saying, like, a lot of times people can't locate themselves emotionally. So it's like you can't bring yourself home if you can't verbalize, okay, well, I feel X or I feel Z and it came from X. And so it just was really deep. And I'm like, okay. And so she went on to say, like, sometimes, you will ask somebody, well, what do you need? And we can't even really, like, we don't even know what we need, to be honest, sometimes. So it just was really good. And so it just sparked my, it sparked my interest for her. So naturally I started to follow her and I discovered that she had this podcast. And so it's just really, really good. She's a believer, but she's also a therapist. And so I love that she's marrying the two. And so anyway, check her out, Dr. Anita Phillips. It was good. It was good. And if you want to know how you're feeling emotionally, look up some emotional vocabulary.
All right.
Yes. So that's not something new.
Yeah, that's a really nice takeaway. Of course, I love all things when you talk about emotional and mental health. That I check that box all the time. But I think it does have to do with connectedness. And I think a lot of times, we miss that mark because we're not taught to be connected to our emotions and what we're all taught to think of others, which is not wrong, except that we forget to talk about that we are included in that village.
Yeah, absolutely.
Connected to our own emotions. So that is, I love that kind of stuff. So I'll be checking in. Thank you. I know I love that kind of talk. But my girl, what's your story for this week is a story on kindness again. And it's very simple. I was at the Walmart. I had to go to the store today. I wasn't even looking for this to happen, but I think we should practice looking for kindness. I don't think we do because we're so used to being cut off and all these things that we expect that first, but we don't necessarily expect kindness first. So I was in the Walmart, finished shopping. I came out, and so I was going to my car, pushing my little cart to my car, And as I'm doing so, I approached my car and I started to unload my groceries. And then I noticed to the right of me a young man who apparently worked at Walmart, and I think he was in charge of the carts. And so he was just standing there ever so patiently. I didn't feel threatened or anything. He was an African-American young man. He looked to be maybe no more than 19 or 20, but he was standing there so politely, and he just waited until I was done, put all of my stuff in, and he was like, "Ma'am, may I take your cart?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And he took my cart and he was like, "And you have a wonderful day, ma'am." And just took my cart and went on. So even though that seems simple, I think it's something to note that there are still young people out here who are kind, who have manners. We're taught to be threatened by our young Black men, which is so unfair. The news, the media do them no justice, but there are young men and young women out here who have manners, who are kind, and who just really want to do something good in life. And so I was just so impressed with him. He just was, he was so polite, and he was about his business. He was just collecting carts, honey. Okay? But he was going to be the best cart collector.
I love it. I love it.
You could tell. He stood there patiently, waiting for me to give him his car, give him that card.
Bless
so
his
I just thought that was so good. So that's my girl. What's your story?
Love it. I so love it. Kindness is key.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, thank you much, ladies, for sharing. And I'm excited for what's about to come up. So without further ado, I'm going to shoot it over to you, Kadesha.
As I'm trying to post on Facebook at the same time, praise God. So
you're a good multitasker.
Yes, you are.
Actually, I don't know about that, but okay, I'll take it. I'll receive it. Um, so tonight, like I said, we're just highlighting, like we normally do, a topic that is celebrated in the month of June. And honestly, as we started to do these, we recognize that there's so many different themes like that the nations are celebrating, right? And so we just want to highlight those that we think is fun and think that is relative to you. So the one that I'm going to be speaking about is National Making Life Beautiful Day, and that was actually on June 11th. And so I'll tell you a little bit about it first, and then we can chat about it. But it's National Making Life Beautiful Day, dedicated, or on June 11th, dedicates a celebration to those who make life beautiful. Whether you're creating beauty by building relationships or helping others achieve personal success, your actions create a ripple effect, making life beautiful, not just for yourself, but for those around you. And this actually has been around about 6 years now. It says, I think it was a beauty company, excuse me, that submitted it. And they just wanted to highlight, they're focusing on internal, external beauty and things of that nature. And they just wanted to highlight those who make people beautiful. And to me, I just thought that was so sweet because, sometimes we don't recognize those who do like Naomi was saying, do the simple things, like the guy with the car. And I think, and to your point also, Naomi, we don't always recognize the things that we do that really make a difference, right?
Yeah.
We underestimate
That's so true. Yeah.
the things that we do. Like, that's what I love that it said, your actions create a ripple effect. Like, think about that. Like, if we do something good, then that's going to catch on to somebody else is going to do something good. And so as you were talking about your Walmart story, Naomi, it made me think about, so maybe last Saturday. I normally use Saturdays if I'm not out like with clients or anything. I just use it to really rest. And so I was resting and I'm like, but I know I got to get out and get some groceries. And so one of the things I share on the prayer call as well is like this part in my life, like God keeps reminding me of Psalm 32:8, that he will guide us along the best pathway for our lives and he'll watch over us and he'll advise us. And so I'm like, doodling, I know I need to go out. I go to Sprouts, which is up the street. And so typically I go to about 2 or 3 stores and they're all kind of like, in a little circle. So I started at Sprouts. Now, mind you, I was going to start at Target, but I started at Sprouts. So I'm picking up my items in line behind a lady. I only had a few items. So she asked me if I wanted to go ahead of her. I said, no, I'm okay. I'm just relaxing. So I noticed as she's ringing up her items, her car's not going through. So I was like, okay, we'll be patient, no problem. So she was like, well, let me use it. Let me get a different card. And then that wasn't working or something like that. So she's like, let me call my husband. And so as she was calling her husband, so here goes the Holy Spirit, right? So tapping my little heart. So for me, I'm like, I got to make sure it's him. So I need to hear it again. So by this time, they were about to cancel her order. So, they're calling the assistant manager so they can void it out because, she's taking a little while. And then she's like, you know what? I'll be back. I said, oh, Lord, this is Jesus. So anyway, I covered her bill. Awesome. And it wasn't a small bill, but it was something that I could do, right? When I tell you this lady, like, she was like, thank you. And we was parked by each other in the parking lot. Yeah. So she continued to, just tell me thank you. And then she talked about they had just had a funeral. I think her mother-in-law or grandmother, somebody on her husband's side had just passed. They had a long week, and she calling me her angel. And when I tell you that, like, that spirit, like, then I was excited. Then I'm bubbly. Now I'm like, so I told her to pay it forward. So that was the point I was making. I asked her to pay it forward because she's like, how can I pay you back? I'm like, lady, go on and pay it forward.
Yeah, I
love it.
But that is the type of things. And it's like, it's just when you do good to people, like, it makes you feel good. And then it's like, you want to continue to do good. So that's when I think about National Making Life Beautiful Day. I think about somebody who held the door for me, or even when people call me ma'am, I think that to me, I think that's just so respectful.
Yeah,
It is.
And then I'm like, wait a minute, you trying to call me old?
That's where I thought you were going to go with that one.
Yeah.
But to me, that's beautiful. And so
it is.
This article tells you how you can observe, making life beautiful. And so they say you can give somebody a shout out on social media. Mm-hmm. You can help somebody achieve a personal goal. Mm-hmm. You can donate some time to a worthy cause, right? Mm-hmm. Help somebody less fortunate. I spent a substantial amount of time this week in Baltimore. And when I tell you, I was like, tears came to me just seeing the homeless people and just the different projects. And it's like my heart was just breaking for the people. And I'm like, Lord, how can I help? Right. Mm-hmm. And so what I got from that, because I get overwhelmed by like how I can help. Right. And so what God was trying to help me understand is just do your part. Like, it's only a little part that I have to play. And I just had to know what that part is, what my position is, right? Mm-hmm. And so as I was coming home, dang, Naomi, I wanted to send you this so you could have showed it. But as I'm all a mess, I passed these two guys like painting this beautiful mural somewhere downtown in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And when I tell you, I pulled my car over, got out the car, I'm crying again, just a whole mess. But it was so beautiful because it was basically in honor of Juneteenth. And so it said unity, and it was like a young girl's face. And I'm like, that was their part. Like, that was their thing to make beautiful, like to make this, put this art outside that everybody can see. I'm like, I get it, Lord. I don't have to do everything. I just have to do whatever my part is. And in that instance, that was their part. It was so beautiful. I have to text y'all a picture. But yes, making life beautiful. So some things to kind of think about is, what are we doing, or what are you doing? What can you do to make someone else's life beautiful? To be, like Naomi said, be intentional. But then make mention and contact those who are making your life beautiful, right? So make sure that they know that they matter in your life. So that's that's me on my soapbox.
I love it. I just love it. Just like you were saying about that ripple, when you first said it, that just hit me, because again, oftentimes we think it's the grandiose things. We have to do major things in order to make a difference. But like you said, if you do your little part and then somebody else do their little part, all the little parts make a big thing. So I just love it. And I love, how you described it, because initially when you mentioned National Making Life Beautiful Day, again, you think about the external. Okay, they're going to talk about makeup and all this other stuff, but it's deeper than that. And that's awesome. Love it.
It is.
Deeper, and it's lasting. Those are the things that actually leave an impression on you. We can spend all day beautifying ourselves. And I think that's part of the process too, when we talk about self-care and all those things.
Right.
When you can do something that can impact somebody else's life, that's what's lasting. That will be that thing that could transform that whole person's perspective on life. No one would have known what my state of mind was as I was going to the car, putting my groceries in, and that young man being polite. I could have been having a terrible day. And just by him being as polite as he was, could have changed the whole trajectory of my day. So those things, I think, mean a lot in terms of lasting effects and how we can make our world beautiful and our lives beautiful.
I love it. That was good.
So tell us about National Loving Day, Naomi.
National Loving Day. Y'all know I love this, okay?
This is your lane.
So thank you, ladies, for giving this assignment to me. I was just coming off of vacation, so I wasn't able to really do a lot of meeting, but they know me so well, so I'm so grateful for my sisters. They know exactly what to give me. So this past June 12th was National Loving Day, and this is a beautiful story that I want to tell you about. So National Loving Day again happens every year, June 12th, and it's the anniversary of the historic 1967 U.S. Supreme Court decision, Loving versus Virginia. So let me explain that. In 1958, Mildred and Richard Loving were arrested for being married because they were an interracial couple living in Virginia. And at the time, it was illegal there. Their case made it all the way to the Supreme Court. And 9 years after their arrest, they won, which struck down all of the state laws against interracial marriage in the United States. So June 12th is a pivotal day for a lot of people who are especially in beautiful interracial relationships. And so let's put this into perspective. Think about this. Only 54 years ago, it was illegal, over 50 years. Let me just say it like that. It was illegal for one person to marry another person if they were of a different race in 17 states across America. Wow. So today, multiracial Americans are growing at a rate of 3 times faster than the population as a whole. So can you imagine if if interracial marriages were still illegal, how many families that would impact? So as reading up on this, I was just blown away. And I want to give a shout out to Forbes.com for giving this information, but I just thought it was so profound. And so now we're living in a time where people can just love each other for who they are. So it doesn't matter your race. You can love across racial lines. And how many beautiful families do we see birthed out of interracial relationships? It's wonderful. And, I always have to bring it spiritual. Y'all know, 1 Corinthians 13:7, love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. And what stood out to me about this story was the fact that it was a story of endurance, of patience. Love is just one of those kind of stories where, you can be patient and you can endure. Think about it. They were arrested, and 9 years later, they won their case through the Supreme Court. And so that showed the calling and assignment on their lives. That love can be an assignment. It can be a calling. And their love changed the whole U.S.
I love it.
Isn't that amazing? I was like,
it is
so blown away by this. But I think, and I can open this up to you too. I think that this goes to show what's possible for us. Like a lot of people give up on love. They give up on the possibility of it and don't realize that there is so much hope in it, and that anything is possible. It is so possible that life and love don't have to be over. And my favorite song, and one of my favorite songs growing up, but Heal the World. Y'all know that song by Michael Jackson?
Yes.
Heal the World. So it's 2 verses in there that was like spot on. I'm not going to sing it, but I'll read the lyrics.
Oh, sing it.
No. But I will read the lyrics. It says, there's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place was brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place, you'll feel there's no hurt or sorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make a little space, make a better place. And then the second verse, it says, love, there is love that cannot lie. Love is strong. It only cares of joyful giving. If we try, we shall see. In this bliss, we cannot feel fear of dread. We stop existing and start living. I was like, now see there, a prophet, Michael Jackson was speaking. Wasn't he speaking through the lyrics?
He said he was a prophet and didn't even know it, huh?
That man was prophesying in a lot of his songs, really, about global warming and all these things, but especially about love. So that is the low down, or not the low down, but that's an overview of National Loving Day.
Wow, that is awesome. A story of perseverance, really. You just think about that. Like, I think as you were sharing that, it made me think about a lot of times the stuff that we're going through is not just for us. We get so mired in like, woe is me, I can't believe this is happening. But ultimately, is for the greater good of other people. And if we could just
Yeah.
persevere and push through, just look at what can happen, just like their story. That is just powerful.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was very blown away and impressed with their level of endurance and
Mm-hmm.
it showed that they had true love for one another. Like you can say
Yeah.
you love somebody all day, but can you demonstrate it by your actions, by your willingness
Mhm.
to stand by one another? And this goes for marital relationships, friendships, working relationships. Believe it or not, there's a level of loyalty that needs to be there even in your
Yeah.
partnerships when you're working with people. So I just was impressed. So thank
Yeah.
y'all for giving me that assignment.
And scream Naomi. Naomi.
I love
I
it.
still love it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was good. That was really good. Cool. Cool.
Yes. So, Miss Alicia, we have
Ooh.
National Smile Power Day.
And this is another one. This was definitely for me. I'm
Yep.
always smiling about something. But in any event, the interesting thing about National Smile Power Day is that the creator and the origin of this day is actually unknown. But the thing that is known is that it's observed every year on June 15th.
Mm-hmm.
So while we've missed the official observance of, National Smile Power Day, the good thing is the spirit behind that day can absolutely be observed every single day of the year. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the good thing. And
Mhm.
really, when we think about it, this day is actually celebrated to honor the beautiful gift, when you look at it, that God has given us when it comes to the smile. Every one of us has it, and every one of us can use it. And you're going to like this quote, Naomi, because it's dealing with love. But Mother Teresa is quoted as saying, "Let us always meet each other with a smile, for the smile is the beginning of love." So
Mm-hmm.
now, while some people may think of smiling as kind of like that involuntary response to things that maybe bring us a little joy or inspire us to actual laughter, it turns out that smiling is something that we could do consciously. We heard the word earlier, intentionally. It's a personal choice that we can
Mm-hmm.
actually make on a daily basis. And what it does is it does a number of things, not only to our mood, but also to our bodies as well. So I want to talk about that a little bit. And you know me with my acronyms. I'm sure you can guess what the word is I'm going to use.
Smile.
Smile. Ding, 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 ding. There are a ton of things in terms of the benefits that we can get from just turning that frown upside down and smiling. But I just want to hit on 5 of them in the interest of time. So using smile, SMILE. The S is for successful persona. Successful persona. So research shows that people who smile regularly actually give off a persona of success. And, not only do they appear more confident, but also they appear to be more likely to be promoted and also to be approached by people. You're not going to go to somebody who's frowning, that's for sure. But if you think about it, if you put that smile on, maybe you're about to go into a business meeting, maybe you're, going in for your quarterly or annual review, or maybe you're about to meet with your clients, just put that smile on, and you'll be amazed at some of the positive things that may come out of that. So a
Mm-hmm.
smile signifies successful persona. The M is for mood enhancer. A
Mhm.
smile is a mood enhancer. And it really turns out that just the physical act of smiling, actually it activates the pathways in our brain, which influences our emotional state. So just by smiling, we could, quote unquote, trick our minds into entering into a state of happiness. So if you're not happy for whatever reason, trick your mind and just smile, and the happiness will appear. And this is true whether or not the smile is genuine or not, whether something really brought you joy or happiness, or if you're just trying to trick yourself into being happy. But basically, what a simple smile does is it triggers the release of dopamine and serotonin in our brain, which actually boost our mood. So if you think about it, a smile could be thought of as a free, natural antidepressant. And there are no side effects with that, and it doesn't cost anything. So when you need to change your mood, smile. The I in smile is improves attractiveness. And I don't know anybody who doesn't want that one. So a smile will improve attractiveness. As it stands, we're naturally drawn to people who smile. But it turns out that when we smile, people assume that we possess other positive personality traits, which makes us attractive to them. Just by smiling, people think you have all these beautiful things going on in your world. And along with the attractiveness in the midst of that, smiling actually makes us appear youthful. So we're attractive and youthful looking at the same time. So when you really think about it, the muscles that we use to smile actually lift our face. So it makes us appear younger when we smile. So instead of people actually, yes, just plaster it on,
Right.
but instead of people actually, paying for a facelift, all they have to do is just smile throughout the day. They'll look attractive and they will look younger. So again, improve your attractiveness.
That's good.
The L is for live longer. We all want to do that, right? Well, live longer healthily. But there was a study conducted in 2010 that found that with that genuine, intense smile is associated with longer life. So if we want to increase our lifespan, and a lot of us confess long life, just increase the amount of time that we smile throughout the day, and we're here thereby increasing our lifespan. And lastly, the E is for eliminates pain. So when you think about it, different studies have shown that smiling actually releases, as we talked about, the serotonin, also endorphins, and also other natural painkillers. So those things combined, what they end up doing is those chemicals make us feel good from head to toe. So not only does it enhance our mood, but also it relaxes our body. And when our body is relaxed, the pain kind of diminishes. So again, we could look at smiling not only as a mood enhancer, but a natural pain killing drug. Again, it's free and there are no side effects. So keep that in mind. So like I said, although June 15th has passed, that day has passed, we could still celebrate it every day. And just some quick things we could do on a daily basis. Upon waking up, get in front of a mirror and just smile. Get those muscles moving. That's right, Naomi, you got it. Get those muscles in action. Also, give yourself a smile challenge. It could be a number of smiles that you're going to give that day, or how many people you're going to smile at. Again, we want to get that in, so we're building up that attractiveness and that youthfulness. Also, share those personal, positive vibes by smiling at everybody you meet. And also, if you're having a problem with smiling, think about some happy moments that have happened in the past that made you smile then, and just know that they'll make you smile again. And then the other thing, me, I like to laugh. So just have a few funny jokes, in your pocket. So when you're feeling a little down, just rehearse them in your head. You don't have to say them out loud, but it'll not only get you to smile, but you'll laugh as well. And I want you to indulge me with this one little thing as we talk about smiling. I want to do a test to show you the power of our smile. So I want you to go ahead, give me that big smile that y'all had a minute ago. Smile really big. Now, without letting that smile go, try to think of something negative. Again, without losing that smile. It's hard to do, isn't it? Like, it's hard to smile like that and to think of something negative. The two just don't go together. So that shows the power of the smile. When you're feeling down, when you're feeling low, just smile, and whatever that negative thing that is around you, it will go. One last thing, a smile just sends the message to us that life is good. Again, whether it is or not, it does our minds good, and it does our body good. So happy belated National Smile Power Day to everyone.
Yeah, I love that. You kept mentioning attractive. I said, okay, she's trying to be cute.
Look, smiling on. Look, I was like, I'm a smile from sun up to sundown.
That's right. Smile at the grocery store, smile when out the mail, smile because you don't know who you're going to run into.
Come on now. Look, the other piece of that was the youthfulness. You don't have to get a facelift. You look younger. So just keep smiling, and that what is it? The time clock will kind of go back, roll back the hands of time. So just smile.
Emphasis on the free. I love that. Free painkiller and free facelift. You can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong with it. And no side effects. That's the thing. You don't have to worry about anything else going wrong in your body or your life by smiling.
Right.
It
But
doesn't
you're
matter.
right though. When you do smile, it is hard to, it's hard to smile and frown at the same time, right? It's hard to smile and think about something negative. So I'm glad you raised that point. That's a very good one.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Wow.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we done went through it for you. We had, look, National Making Life Beautiful Day. See if y'all can remember these. National Making Life Beautiful, National Loving Day, and National Smile Power Day. What are you out there doing to make somebody else smile?
Gotta love it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, I think it's almost time for
our favorite segment, y'all. Y'all ready? Here we go. Tell me. That is our next segment. And I think we're just on a roll about telling y'all good stuff tonight. So we're just going to keep it
going.
Okay.
Keep it going.
You've had your fill of, well, not too much, but we still got a little bit more to give.
Some more.
Okay. So this is our opportunity to tell you something good that we've seen in the news, on social media, or some health tip or something new that we've tried. This is our opportunity to share with you. And listen, don't be ashamed or scared to share yours in the chat. We love seeing what you come across. But there you have it. Tell me something good.
Woo woo. Well, my tell me something good kind of goes along with what I shared in Girl, What's Your Story? Kind of along the lines of another type of slavery, if you will. And some people call it student debt. So anybody who's ever had student loan debt in any kind of way will consider that to be a form. Look at Naomi like, Lord Jesus, a form of slavery, so to speak, financial slavery. But this story came up. I just so love it because Wilberforce University in Ohio, which is actually the nation's oldest private HBCU that's actually owned and operated by African Americans, they announced during the graduation just a few weeks ago from the class of 2021 that all of the graduates who had student debt owed to the university, it was canceled. Woo. And not only for 2021, the class of 2021, but also for the class of 2020. So can you imagine being in the midst of your graduation? You're excited about your graduation, but then the president says, canceled. Anything you owe the university is canceled. It added up to about $375,000 of debt that the school canceled. And what the school said is the reason why they did it was that they wanted students to really have a fresh start in life. You know, they didn't want them to owe anything to the university. I was like, you know what, that kind of reminds you of the Bible. Owe no man anything except to love them. And you actually kind of what you were doing, Naomi, right there. As they showed the clip, there was one guy, he was doing this little church dance. I was like, look, I feel you. I was like, because again, if you ever had to pay student loans back, oh my goodness. I thank God that that's in the past, that's been there, done that. But if you live in it today, I know that that can be a form of shackles in some cases. So kudos and shout out to Wilberforce University. Wow. I think that is awesome. More schools need to kind of follow that, especially in the times that we're in right now.
Yes. Wilberforce. Now, where'd you say that was again? Because I feel like
it's in Wilberforce, Ohio.
Okay. I don't know why I feel like, I don't know, I've heard of it or actually, I think I may have interviewed there. Random.
Did you?
Wow. I was going to interview. Like, it was like really weird because I had never heard of it. I was like, what? There's a black school in Ohio? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was going to interview there, but that wasn't my assignment.
That wasn't your calling at the time.
That wasn't my calling. Wow. Look, I'm about to call Spelman and Clark. Look, are y'all canceling that?
It's like, did you hear what Wilberforce just did?
Yes, indeed. Go ahead and cancel that. I love that, girl.
Yeah, that was good.
Calling them bright and early tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's right.
They were like, honey, that is not our school.
Hilarious. So my tell me something good is this past week I was talking to, actually I was having Alisha laugh, as always. She's always laughing at me. But telling her a story about pickle juice.
Oh Lord.
I'm not going to tell the story, but I do want to talk about the benefits of pickle juice. Okay. So my husband, he will pick up pickle juice, and he'll do like the asparagus. There's like cauliflower. I mean, anything you can think of. Like when you're riding through the South and you stop at these different mom and pop shops, anything you can think of, they pickle. Okay. And Mike has probably tried it. So anyway, he has a few in here. So it made me want to look up the benefits of it. Now, the thing with pickle juice is you only want to do it in small increments, okay? Small increments.
Now, is it pickle or pickled juice?
Okay, my bad. Wait, well, no, I think it is pickle juice.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was understanding what you were saying.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yes, pickle juice. So anyway, one of the benefits, it soothes, which I didn't know this, it soothes muscle cramps. So, sometimes if you, I don't know, whatever, running or walking or have a random cramp, you can take a third cup of pickle juice. And this is what it says. This was pretty cool. Pickle juice relieved cramps more than drinking the same amount of water. So even if you had the same amount of water, the pickle juice is better for you. So that's one of the cool things. Another thing that shocked me was it helps you stay hydrated. So I know, like, if it's not water, the doctors will have you drink Gatorade sometimes to stay hydrated. But I never heard anybody tell me drink pickle juice. So, you can do it. They say you can have a little bit like after your workout or something like that.
Interesting.
Another thing is we talking about looking beautiful, and we can look beautiful in all shapes and sizes. But if you are on, trying to lose some weight, it actually can aid you in losing weight as well.
Wow.
And it's not expensive. Okay, so we know Alisha likes to save her coins. It's something that you can get for relatively cheap. I mean, probably just a few dollars. And it actually kind of goes good with dinner. Like you can just have kind of like a little side something. If Alisha be open to try it, okay? Because I know you eat with your eyes. Lord Jesus.
But wait, are you going to share what you shared with me? I mean, not the whole story, but why you shouldn't drink a lot of it. So remember, you gotta measure what you're drinking. And why is that, Kadesha?
So we were talking on Father's Day. We went to my father's house, and I was talking to my stepmom, and she was saying how her dad, now he is in his 80s, okay? So he was having some type of ailment, but whatever ailment he was having, he heard on the street, drink some pickle juice, okay?
Lord.
So he was trying to get rid of this ailment so bad, okay? I don't know how much he drank, but it probably was about a cup of this, like the whole mug of pickle juice. Now, mind you, what they just instructed us was to have like a third cup. He drank all this pickle juice. My stepmom's calling him like, Dad, what's wrong? He's like, I don't know what's wrong. But the point is, the pickle juice, he drank so much, it almost like caused him to like hallucinate. Okay. So he's like sitting on the step. Miss April gets to the house and he's like sitting on his step. His little feet is a little swinging. And she's like, what is going on with my dad? He had too much, right? So because there is some sodium in it. So you got to be careful. Like if you have what is it, like high blood pressure or anything like that, or you just want a little bit. Not a whole thing. And what all I could see was like him and his feet little swinging. I'm like, when she's telling this story, I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
no, please, not grandpa, okay?
I'm not
Not him.
laughing at him. I'm just laughing at when Kadesha was telling me this. I was just like, oh my God. So you definitely got to tell people.
Oh my goodness. We do anything to try to get well, right? So much
I
so.
think it's good though that you cautioned us not to drink, because especially if we talk about losing weight, a person may be inclined to say, "Let me drink a whole lot of that," and then next thing you know, they got something else going on that they don't want going on. So,
and what I forgot to say, my disclaimer was, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dietitian. Okay,
yeah.
So, go ahead and check with your doctor first, because the reality is we all have different blood levels, sugar levels. That's all right. Of that is going to be different based on the individual. So don't be saying, Kadesha said on Wednesday, I need to give me some pickle juice. Talk and to your doctor.
When Wisdom Talks has no money to give. So.
Let's make that clear, Crystal.
No, but the last thing I wanted to mention on this was it helps control blood sugar levels, which I know in our community, a lot of us suffer with diabetes. So, again, a little bit will do you good.
A little dab will do you.
That reminded me of My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I love that movie, and how the father in the movie used Windex to cure everything. If he had some kind of marking or warts or anything, he took this bottle of Windex and just squirted Windex on whatever it was.
Oh, goodness.
And that was like the highlight throughout the movie. If you are a My Big Fat Greek Wedding fan, then you know what I mean. But that's just funny.
Oh my goodness.
I tell me something good. Has to do with something that is near and dear to my heart. A couple of things. When I was in high school, I used to run track. And actually from middle school all the way through to high school. I didn't do it in college, but definitely did it in high school. And so this story has to do with the Tokyo Olympics that's coming up. And there were several moms who qualified for the U.S. team for track and field. One of, and I think, Kadesha, you always said that I reminded you of Alison Felix. Was it you who said that?
Did you? I don't think it was me, but now that you said it, I'm like, duh, you do.
Yeah, it's like everybody, a lot of people say that I remind them or favor her, and I'm great with that because she's beautiful and she is strong. Let me try to get to her size, though. We can look it up, but let me work on something. Let me work on something and get down to her size.
The pickle juice.
Pickle juice, a little do you. But one of the most iconic moments at the U.S. Olympic track and field trials recently came on the heels of the women's 400-meter final. So after the qualifying for Alison Felix, she came in second. And another young lady, I think her name, and forgive me if I'm saying it wrong, but it's Quanera Hayes. Both of them won first and second place consecutively in the 400-meter final race. But what was so awesome was after they won, they introduced their toddler children to each other. Aww. I thought that was so adorable. Yes. And so at the end, they just kind of admired the fact that they were both moms and they both qualified and they had their children there watching. So they brought their little ones together and they met and greeted each other, and it was like a little mini play date. But both of these women, Alison Felix and Quanera Hayes, both qualified for the upcoming Tokyo U.S. Olympics for track. And I'm so excited. But this is just an ode to all the moms out there that you don't have to give up. If you have children, that does not mean that is the end of your dreams. It's not all. You can still pursue. And a lot of times the children enjoy being part of that whole process. Yeah. I tell you, it took me a long time to finish my bachelor's. Right now I'm working on my PhD, but when I was working on my bachelor's, It took me a long time. I got married, I had children, and all of that. But the blessing was the day that I walked across the stage and my children got to see me graduate with my bachelor's degree. That was the blessing and highlight of my life. So moms, I just want to encourage you. Life is not over. I know many of you know this, but if those of you who are new moms, welcome to the club. But life is not over, honey. Just because you had those babies, it's just beginning, and you can teach them so much by allowing them see you accomplish your dreams. So shout out to Allison Felix and Cornelia Hayes, who are going to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And yes, okay.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, remember Lolita, who we had on here a few weeks ago, who has 8. She was just saying yesterday how she just smiles when she hears her kids spit back the wisdom that she gave them. She's like, okay, I'm gonna stop. I don't want to tell it because I'm gonna keep crying. But I mean, just to see her smile and to talk about that, it was really beautiful. So I'm glad, and Naomi, I'm glad you reminded the women because they need to be reminded.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, are we at that time? Oh my goodness.
I know. We got a little under 4 minutes left. Wisdom corner. Do we got any quick wisdom, any quick nuggets we can give the people?
I actually gave my love nugget when I was talking about National Loving Day.
I could go. I'll give the wealth one.
I yield the floor.
So this is our opportunity to share a little nugget or two with you, whether it's wealth, love, or wisdom. And I'll go tonight with our wealth nugget. And it's inspired by a quote that says, investing in yourself is the best investment you will ever make. It will not only improve your life, it will improve the lives of all of those around you. So as a result, when you look at it, we not only have to minimize our investment risk when it comes to our personal financial portfolios or our financial well-being, but we must also be mindful of the risk that can affect our physical investments as well, by way of what we eat, what we drink, what we do, our smiles. I had to throw that in there. But as we all know, our health is truly our wealth, which has a personal impact on our lives and also on the lives of those around us. So as we go throughout this week, just say to yourself 3 times a day this quote or this affirmation: I am mindful of my physical wealth and intentionally make a substantial investment in my physical health. And I'll say it one more time quickly. I am mindful of my physical wealth and intentionally make a substantial investment in my physical health. That's your wealth nugget for today.
Amen. That was awesome. You were doing a lot of, we talked about smiling and beautiful, and you mentioned laughing again, which we had the whole show on laughter one time. But it makes me always think about, I love this scripture, and I'll go to it sometimes, just to encourage myself and to remind myself of Proverbs 31:25, where it says, she is clothed with strength and dignity, and she can laugh at the days to come. Yes. And I love that, because when you're laughing at your future, you're not worried. You're not consumed by fear. You're not thinking those negative thoughts. Right. And that's a part of when we tune in on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We want you to be empowered, and we want you to be encouraged, and we want you to face life with smiles and laughter. I mean, trials and tribulations, they're going to come. Yes. Look, honey, we had one right before the show, okay? But we're going to sit here, and God's going to figure it out, So we can laugh, like the scripture tells us, we can laugh at the days to come. I love it. Amen. Love it. Well, ladies and gents, we have given you all we have for tonight. And so we are winding down. We are so appreciative of you tuning in with us this evening.
Yes.
We want to remind you, go ahead and pull your phone out or however you remind yourself. If you have a calendar or planner, that we're here every Thursday at 8. Remember that this episode of When Wisdom Talks is sponsored by Wisdom on the Wall Inc. and Be Inspired Global. Remember that you can connect with us Monday nights and Wednesday mornings for our empowerment prayer call.
Mhm.
And just know that we love you.
Yes.
And we just want you to have a phenomenal week, a phenomenal weekend. So thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay in faith.
And remember to smile.